Hi guys, it's April. The middle of the month is here and I am back to doing mid-month wrap-ups because it just feels weird not to do them. So I'm gonna do them. And this time around I have all of these books to tell you all about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride that is my face. I don't know if that came out entirely how I wanted it to, so please ignore everything I say. So I'm starting to get back into the feel of doing things again. Last Sunday was my birthday and I did a live stream. It went a little weird, but I highly recommend you go check it out if you are interested in learning more about some interesting Sharpie and Crayola finds that I stumbled upon, I guess. For the most part, you guys are here to learn about what I've read. And that is starting out with The First Test by Tamora Pierce. This is the first book in the Protectors of the Small series. This is, of course, part of my Read Tortall read-along that I'm doing. And if you aren't involved yet but want to check out all of the wonderful Tortall books by Tamora Pierce, I will link all the information down below because I love this universe so much. Now this is probably not my favorite in the series, but this reread I'm starting to realize a lot more about the series than I did the first time around or the second time around, and I actually like Kel a lot more than I did. Go figure. So this first book is about Kel, who has decided that she wants to be a Lady Knight. After Alana's whole adventure in becoming a Lady Knight, it has become almost accepted that girls can become knights. So Kel is going to be the first to attempt this. However, a lot of people aren't very excited about females coming into this male-dominated field, and so she is put on probation for the first year. So that is her first test, being a page, learning all of the things, and realizing how difficult it can be when there is a large group of people who pretty much want you to get kicked out because they don't want you there. So this is her journey as she wanders her way through the first year of being a page and dealing with all the bullying and the fact that she is a female and everybody knows she's a female. Kel in this story is actually very, very strong, which I really didn't connect with the first time I read the story, but the second time through, I think I empathize with her a lot more since I've grown in my business life and just trying to put myself out there. There's a lot of parallels that I started drawing with Kel, so I understand her character a lot more. While it still isn't probably my favorite of the series, it's going up there in my liking of it. Then I picked up The Lost Years of Merlin by T.A. Barron. This is one of those books that I had hauled when I first started my channel. It's basically a book I found at my parents' house and I decided I needed to take it for whatever reason. So it's been sitting on my shelf for 3+ years and I finally picked it up and I really liked it. I probably should have picked it up sooner. It's basically Merlin before he became Merlin. It's when he's younger and he's first discovering his past and his powers and all of that. I really enjoyed seeing what Merlin could have been like as a young boy and discovering himself. And I believe there's another book in the series that I have on my shelf, so this will probably be showing up in one of my wrap-ups shortly. You're welcome. I then picked up Vennators Magic Unleashed by Devri. I have a full review over this book up on my channel. I will link to it so you can go check that out. But this book I received for an honest review, and I did like some of the stuff that went on it. It is the story of Ruin, Riker, and Gray who find themselves in a completely different world in which vampires, werewolves, and the like are a thing. And these guys are pulled into this very interesting political system because they themselves have the power to be the policing unit of this world. Of course, there is a bad guy and then people who want to use them in not so nice ways, and so it's them trying to figure all of that out. And of course, Riker has gotten himself in some trouble and his sister Ruin is on a quest to go save him. Overall, I enjoyed this read, just seeing where it could go. I did have a few bumps and hiccups, which, like I said, go check out my review if you really want full depth into it. I wanted the characters to be fleshed out a little more. I know it's really hard to do when a short first book in a fantasy series, so it's hard to get that full flush of everything. But overall, it was a fun journey, and I'm interested to see where all of this goes. And of course, my reading list would not be complete without a buddy read with Shayla over at Shay Geeks Out. If you haven't checked out her channel, go do that. She is a sweetheart. But we decided to read Summerlong by Peter S. Beagle, who is the author of The Last Unicorn, which is one of my all-time favorite movies and or stories. It is just a thing that I really, really love. So I decided that I was going to try some other of his works with Summerlong. I don't even know how to explain the story without spoiling it for you. It's almost better to go into this story without knowing a lot that is going to happen. It is a retelling of one of my favorite mythologies. That's all I'm going to say about that. It is the story of a family on Gardner Island who takes in this young woman called Lioness, and their life is forever changed. It is an adult book, so it has some adult themes inside of it, but it has Beagle's very lyrical and wonderful writing style. I think mostly I started having issues with the actual characters in the story. I had a hard time liking some of them, and just where the plot and the story went, I wasn't overall thrilled with a lot of it, but it does have his signature style that was done very, very well, and so I'm conflicted because it's really good writing, and to certain people it would be a very good story. I just don't know if I like how he adapted the story and what he's done in this retelling. I'm still figuring this out. So if you've read the story, I would like to have a conversation with you just to get your thoughts on all of this, because oh my goodness. And this book, Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. This is another book that, yes, I picked up because it was about Princess Leia. Love Princess Leia. She's one of my all-time favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise, so anything that I can learn more about her, I will pick up and read. This takes place in Princess Leia's 16th year. For those of you who don't know, Princess Leia is about 18 years old when New Hope kicks off. So it's a couple years before the Star Wars franchise started. I thought it was interesting to see a little bit of Leia's backstory, a little bit of her family life and how she got wrapped up into the rebellion and started along that path. It was very much a YA story, but I like seeing bits and pieces and tidbits of what is to come in her journey just littered throughout. You could see references to things that were going to happen and names and places that were going to be significant in the future, and I think that's what I liked about this story more. I have Leia built up a certain way in my mind, and so to see her not quite at her pinnacle that I aspire to as she is my role model, it was hard to see some of that fluctuation in her, but I understand you're not born a strong leader like that. That's something you have to develop. So yeah, overall I really like this book. And last but not least, I picked up These Broken Stars by Amie Kaufman and Meagan Spooner. This is the story of a luxury liner that starts to crash, and two people, Lilac and Tarver, get stranded together in a space pod on a planet that they don't know where they're at. This is a story of how they are trying to survive, trying to get help, and dealing with the loss of a lot of people they knew in the crash of this luxury liner. This is very much a YA story. It has a lot of the YA tropes in it, and then it has a lot of sci-fi things that I have already seen before, so there wasn't a lot of new things. I was expecting some excitement. At some points I got very much a Doctor Who feel, and at other points started to remind me of the Southern Reach series, which I know is an adult book and this is YA, but it had some of the same vibes going on. Didn't really know what to think of that, and overall I didn't really even enjoy the romance as much as I thought I was going to. I'm probably going to continue on in the series. It's just a middle of the road book for me right now. I really like the covers, they're amazing, but I'm interested to see if the different perspectives in this series changes things up a little bit for me, and maybe we'll get some more answers about other things. I don't know. So I'm going to continue on, even though I'm just kind of meh about the whole thing. I would love to start a conversation with you because thoughts, I always have thoughts, but I don't want to spoil these wrap-ups. So those are all the books that I have read so far the first 2 weeks of this month. There are going to be more, as always. So I hope to see you guys back here. Tell me down below if you, of course, have read any of these books, or you're interested in any of these books, or you have some idea of what I should read next. I don't care. Just start a conversation with me, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.